how I am transitioning from an anxious attachment style to a secure attachment style in my dating life and in my relationships, and how you can do that too. So, my friend, in this video, we will be discussing the most down to earth topic in terms of like relationships, attracting your specific person, and more importantly, keeping them in your life, which is attachment styles. So, like, I'll be really vulnerable. I'll share with you what are the symptoms of an anxious attachment styles, what are their roots, like where do they what are their core, where do they come from, and also at the end of the video, if you stay with me until the end, we'll discuss what is the solution to transitioning from an anxious to a secure attachment style. And now, in the beginning, I just want to be absolutely transparent that this is also a journey that I am at this stage making in my life. So I cannot say with absolute confidence and certainty that I have fully transitioned to becoming the most secure person in terms of relationship and dating. But I have been on that journey for 5, 6 years already, and I know a lot of things about how an anxious attachment style works, what are the beliefs that he identifies with and he harbors in his consciousness, and like what are some of the biggest lessons that an anxious attachment style needs to learn to transition to a secure attachment style. And I'm pretty sure and pretty confident that with what I'll share with you in this video, most of the things that I'll share with you relate a lot, and then you'll be able to understand them a little bit more deeply so that you can work through the symptoms of an anxious attachment style. Now, that being said, let's directly get into the video and begin with the topic. First of all, if you are new to this concept of anxious attachment style, avoidant attachment style, and the secure attachment style, let me just give you a bigger picture overview of what it means. Generally, 50% of the lucky ones, of the lucky people on earth, they are secure in their love, in their dating. So they have a secure attachment styles. They don't tend to attach too much importance to a specific person. They're not playing any controlling or manipulative games in their dating life. They're just being secure within the love that they know they can experience and they deserve to experience in their romantic relationships. But now the rest 50%, the other 50% are like, half of them are secure attachment styles, not secure, half of them are anxious attachment styles, and the other half are avoidant attachment styles. Now, maybe we'll discuss avoidant attachment styles in another video, but this one will focus mostly on an anxious attachment style and how it works. So, that being the case, I'll drink a sip of water and begin. So, yeah, basically, anxious attachment style. This means, and this doesn't only influence your relationships. You also find that this influences your career life. It also influences like your masculine or feminine energy and how you're expressing that energy to your partner. So it has a lot of influence to many different areas in your life, but more like the biggest influence it has is in your dating and relationship life. So generally what an anxious attachment style does is like we tend to push people away because we are too loving, we are too needy, we are too pleasing, we are too caring of others. And if we become fully honest with ourselves, the reason that we are too caring, too pleasing, and too needy is because we want to ensure the fact that we feel secure about our partner loving us. So when we are pleasing our partner's needs, desires, when we are doing everything we can to show us our love towards us, it's not that we are doing it because genuinely we feel love towards them. No, if you are fully honest with you, my friend, with yourself, then you realize that most of the time that you are trying to please your partner, you're doing that because you want to feel secure that they love you back. And part of you from your childhood experiences and growing up have believed that if I'm able to please all the needs of my parents, then they will love me. And so now in your grown-up life, if I'm able to please all the needs of my partner, then they will love me. So you're not doing this out of love. You're doing this from lack of love, which is manipulation, essentially. So now let's go one by one through the different criteria that you find yourself identifying with if you're an anxious attachment style. And I also share a little bit of how you can work through each of them. And then by the end of the video, I'll share with you what is the biggest and most crucial realization I've had on my journey, and you eventually also have if you're transitioning from an anxious to secure attachment style. So first of all, you're needy. Like, you find yourself being needy. You always need validation from your partners to prove that they still love you. And now I want to give you an example of how this was the case, and it's still a little bit the case for me. It's like when I'm chatting with my specific person, with my partner, for example, I always want them to like send me all these loving emojis and like these kissing emojis, these hugging emojis, because for me, for the child within me, I know that this is an expression of love. And I know that when the person I love and I like sends me a lot of emojis, this is how they show me their love. And so when they don't, I assume that they don't love me, which of course is like the furthest from the truth, but this is what I mean. Like, this is an example of what being needy means. And so the way to like balance this neediness here is that you really need to ask your partner how they show their love, because if you are not aware of the exact way, the exact approach that they show their love, you assume the way you want them to love you, and then if they don't match that way, you assume that they don't love you, which is not the case. So when you are completely transparent with your partner and like you're genuinely curious of how they generally show their love and how they have done that in previous relationships, then you can get to know their way of expressing that love so that you don't assume things which are not true. So this is the first criteria, that you might find yourself being really needy. The next one is that you might find yourself being too pleasing. It's like feeling responsible as if it is your need to please all of your partner's desires, needs, and generally you tend to compromise and sacrifice your own values, because like if you don't please your partner's desires and needs, you might not feel secure of their love towards you. And so that's why you tend to compromise and sacrifice your values, sacrifice your boundaries, overstep, like just, it's like you decide to abandon yourself for your partner's case to ensure the fact that they love you. And again, I'll give you an example with me. Like, I've had the first relationship, the first more like longer relationship I've had in my life was, eventually it became so toxic, and like we were spending 16 out of 24 hours per day with my partner, and all my life was revolving around my partner. So I started like abandoning my passions, abandoning my friends, abandoning reading books, which is something that I'm really passionate about. It was, and then eventually I found that I was spending 16 out of 24 hours per day with my partner, and it became so toxic. Like, I started feeling suffocated. Now, this is what happened 4 or 5 years back when I was just starting on this journey. But yeah, this is what you can experience also, that when you're too pleasing, when you want to please, and it's not just in your romantic partner. Now, this extends over to your friends and maybe to your professional life, to your career life, in your work. Maybe you're taking the workload of your colleagues because you don't want them to feel bad. Maybe you're always eager to drop your priorities and responsibilities to go and help out a friend, which they might not even respect your help. So this is what happens. Like, when you're on an anxious attachment style, you're too pleasing, you're attached to this model of behavior, and it's your responsibility now to investigate it. So, like, to balance that pleasing, boundaries are something that you'll find essential to developing, and we'll talk about them again by the end of the video. So something else is that you're generally giving way too much importance to love and like to your romantic partner. It's like you're making that the first priority in your life, and it's like you cannot work, you cannot develop personally, you cannot spend time with your friends, spend time quality time with your friends, you cannot go to adventures because all your attention is focused on, am I loved from my partner or am I not? Like, how can I ensure that I am loved? What can I do to ensure the fact that I'm secure, that they love me? So yeah, this is something that you also find as a symptom. Another thing is that you generally don't have boundaries. Like if you're an anxious attachment style, and if you just found that out about yourself, you don't have boundaries and you don't have a vision of what you want from your romantic relationships. And that's why you're willing to fall for every single person, even if they don't align with your vision of what you want from your relationships. So it's like subconsciously you believe that you don't have the right to choose, and you can only be chosen. And so whenever somebody chooses you, is that the word, chooses you? Yeah, let's say this is the word. If somebody chooses you, it's like you don't have the freedom to choose or not choose them. It's like only they can choose you. You don't have a say in that. So you're almost assuming this victim identity that I cannot choose who I want to love, because it's like if they don't love me, how can I choose them? So if somebody loves me, I better go and run towards them even if I don't like them. And so you tend to fall in relationships with people who who don't align fully to your vision, but it's like you prefer it because they'll love you, and it's better to have some form of love than no love at all. So this is what I meant by giving too much importance to love generally. Another thing that you'll find is that you're the chasing one. It's like you're always chasing your partner. You are always the one who is giving too much, who is trying to show how much you care for them, who is trying to show how important your partner is for you, who is trying to like make presents, for example, who is trying to, who is always contacting them and doesn't and never shares the need that I also want you to show me your love and affection because I am a human being and I need that. And so you're always chasing, you're always trying to force or manipulate your partner to love you by being too kind, by going no contact, by doing affirmations and things like that. Now, nothing wrong with the inner work, with visualizations, affirmations, and all of that. And I create a lot of content in my channel about all of that. But if you are doing that to force or manipulate your partner to fall in love with you, then it wouldn't work because the intention is not genuine. So the only way for like affirmations, visualization, things like that, which are generally for inner work, tools which are generally focused for inner work, the only way for them to work is if you are not attached to an end result, which is your partner coming back and showing you that they love you. They will only work if you are doing this for your own inner growth, because then you'll be fully committed. If you're doing it just to get to an end, and then these tools, going no contact, like trying to pretend that you don't care, using affirmations and trying to force them on your mind, or like trying to visualize something which feels so out of so further away from the place you are in your life right now emotionally, to just get your partner to come and tell you that they love you. If this is your intention, you will always find yourself running in that circle in which you're like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that because you're trying to manipulate or force your partner to love them, they will eventually stop loving them, and again you won't feel secure in their love because you're working through that anxious attachment style. And the only way to work through it is by investigating your beliefs and setting boundaries and like connecting to your vision. We'll talk about that in a moment when we get to the end of the video. So something else, maybe you're like also like a lot of empaths, a lot of sensitive people are the ones who are anxious. So maybe you're overly sensitive and like you're overly romantic and unconsciously wanting to be safe and cared for from your partner, and you also have the belief that conflict is something bad. It's like, I need to run away from conflict. I remember having that belief for a lot of time. I was scared of conflict. I assumed that it was something dangerous and I was running away from it. Eventually, I understood the conflict, that through conflict, I become more intimate to my partner. And so it's something good. Like, it's not something that you should pursue, but when it happens, you become more aware of your differences, and then you get to know your partner better, and then you can connect with them on a deeper level. So it's a great thing to be in conflict with your partner. It's not something that ensures the fact that you break up and that you lose their love. No, conflict is the way you become more intimate. But yeah, generally you find yourself being overly sensitive and romantic. And it's like almost as if part of you is wanting your partner to be your parent. And I have found that for myself to be true. Like on this journey, I have attracted a woman to myself that had a child which was called Danny. And this was like the universe is so ironic, like life is so ironic, because when you're working through something on the inside, and it's like I unconsciously wanted my partner to become my parent, and that's why the universe showed me a woman that I was attracted to, who had a child which was called the same name to how I'm called. And I was like, okay, like how synchronistic of you. That's so funny. But yeah, it's like part of you maybe still wants your partner to be your parent. So maybe you're looking for a parent that consistently wants to care for you, because like if they don't, you feel abandoned and you need them to save you. Like you need your partner to save you. You're not secure. You're not feeling secure of the love that you know you deserve. Instead, you want your partner to consistently be there and care for you and show you that they love you, because if they don't, you'll feel abandoned within yourself and you're still being attached to that wound. So yeah, it's like you're generally wanting your partner to be your mother, or like your partner to be your father, because you haven't integrated the relationship with your parents. And this is some of the like symptoms that I found within myself by working with this attachment style. And as I'm telling you, I'm still transitioning from anxious to secure attachment style. But with time, I'm becoming more and more secure within the love that I know that I deserve generally, like even if my partner doesn't always show me their love with emojis, for example, as I told you. So, and like one of the biggest realizations that I've had for myself by going through this transition is that instead of me constantly speaking about how much I love my partner and like how much I cherish them, how much I appreciate them in my life, it's much more intelligent and much more secure for me to be an example of that love. So, and I'll give you an example of what I mean in a story that I'll share in a moment. So instead of just speaking about how much I love them, because when you're an anxious attachment style, you're attracting an avoidant attachment style. And avoidant attachment styles, they are not trusty. They are not trustworthy. They wouldn't trust you as easily. Like they wouldn't just trust your words blindly. They need proof. They need examples. And so it's like what I've realized is that instead of just talking about how much I love and appreciate my partner, I can show that to them through my acts of service. So to give you an example, like the woman I'm dating right now, I know that she's like a little bit too busy with her work and too overwhelmed with her like business, and I know she needs help like increasing her prices so that not a lot of people go and work with her, because like her schedule is full and she doesn't have time for herself. And now knowing that to be true, instead of me just sharing with her that she needs to like yeah, she needs to increase her prices and like she needs to put boundaries, and like trying to show her that I care for trying to tell her that I care for her by telling her what she needs to do, because I know this is right for her, I can directly take responsibility. Like I can instantly just do what I know is best for her. So, and how this has reflected, since I'm also like a copywriter, I have my coaching business that, by the way, if you want to jump on a discovery call, you can watch the training in the description below. And when you go through it, then at the end you can schedule a free discovery call where we can talk about how you can like surround yourself only by people who support and lift you up in life. So that being the case, now let's get back to the story. Since I know that she wants more time for her, and like instead of just saying to her that she needs to do this and that so that so that she has more time for her in her and she can balance her personal and work life, instead of doing that, I decided just to write her a copy for a page that I know she wants to like put on her Instagram profile, because I'm also a copywriter. And like in through this copy, like she can also increase her prices a little bit more, and then a little bit more people will stop working with her, and she'll have more time for herself. And so this is what I'm sharing. It's like instead of just showing how much you love your partner, you can it's just instead of just telling how much you love them, you can be an example of that love. So when you know that there is something that they need to do which is for their greatest benefit, you can just act on it. It's like you don't even need their approval, because it's like if you love them and if you want them, if you genuinely want the good for them, and if you are certain that you can just do something to help that to support them, go ahead. It's like you're free. Instead of just telling them that they should need to make changes within themselves, help them with that. It's like but not by words, but by acts of service. So basically the solution is, instead of talking how much you love your partner and trying to force them to love and trust you, you can show through your example your love through your deeds. And you also it's like it's really important, if you're to do that, that you're connected to your vision of a romantic partner. Because of course it's like it's not healthy to do this for a partner who doesn't align with your vision, because it's like you then just become too needy and you chase them. But if they align to your vision, and if you're certain that you want them in your life, then you're free to take responsibility for certain aspects of their life. Now, if you're a man, if you're a woman, the dynamics are a little different here, and maybe I'll make a video on that a little later. But if you're a man who wants to connect with their masculinity, then it's important to show your love through your deeds, not through your words. Your words mean nothing, my friend. For an avoidant attachment style, which is the person whom you attract, if you're an anxious attachment style, your words mean nothing. Your deeds are what changes them, and your deeds are what is giving them an example of your love. So this is why it's important for you to also be connected to your vision, because you don't want to like give so much effort to a partner who doesn't align with your vision, because then it's like you just become too needy, which is not in your benefit. But when you know that your partner aligns with your vision, and he's also like he also has respect for your boundaries because you have connected to your boundaries, then yeah, it's like it's your responsibility to, through your example, show how much you love them. And so, because generally we tend to overcompensate for our partner's lack of love, and we tend to do what we want from them ourselves. So if we want our partner, let's say, to show to share with us more words of affirmation, more words of encouragement, and like if we want them to spend more quality time with us, then instead of just sharing that need, we are overcompensating for it. We are like giving what we need from them by ourselves, and then it's like we are sabotaging our own life, and then we become too needy, and it's like we are pushing them away, so it doesn't work. So instead of doing that, it's like, of course, it's your responsibility also to share your needs. This is why it's important to connect to your boundaries, because if you don't connect to your boundaries, you will never have the inner boldness and courage required to share what you need. And it's like you have a no bullshit policy. You have some things that you don't tolerate, and that if your partner does, it's like it's just a complete turn off. So for me, for example, this is transparency. If my partner is not transparent with their feelings towards me, when we're in conflict on whatever, when we're experiencing something and I want us to have a really genuine talk, and if they're not transparent with their feelings, I perceive this as childish. It's like it's not mature. And it's like I cannot be a secure person around somebody who doesn't want to express their feelings with me, because I will validate them for sure. But if they are afraid of doing that because they feel that I might judge them, I will not do that. But if they have that assumption, it's like they don't fit my boundaries. And now again, I'm just giving you an example of what it means to be connected to your boundaries and to your vision of a romantic partner. But yeah, the biggest shift, the biggest realization for me by making that transition is, instead of talking about love and like saying how much I love my partner, I can show it to them. And this is what makes the difference, because it's like our deeds shows us who we really are. Our words, we can be really manipulative with our words, and I have been in that trap many times so far, and I will probably continuously be in that trap. But yeah, our deeds show the reality of who we are. So if you are an anxious attachment style and you're transitioning to a secure attachment style, show your partner your love instead of just talking about it, or instead of just being needy. It's like genuinely see what they need in their life. I know, for example, the woman I'm dating, she needs more personal time for her. So if I help her with her work by helping her increase her prices and like position her product in such a way that it's comfortable for her to increase her prices by writing this sales copy for a page that she will use, it's like, this is an example of love, because I know she has that need. And it's like, instead of just waiting for her to fulfill it by herself and like sharing with her that she needs to do it and like it's better for her, I can just take responsibility. And then I'm not being a victim here anymore. So yeah, this, my friend, is the biggest realization. Instead of talking about love, instead of being needy, instead of like sacrificing yourself, just genuinely see what your partner needs, and if they align with your vision, take responsibility for that. And now again, this is only for the men out there, because for women it's different. For women, it's crucial that you're just connected to your boundaries. I'll discuss why maybe in another video, but this is like so fucking attractive, it's hard to comprehend. um, and your femininity, of course, but your boundaries and femininity, they're really connected. That being the case, this was everything I wanted to share with you, my friend, in this video. So if you found it useful, if you related to what I shared, if you discovered yourself in this anxious attachment style, let me know in the comments what you're struggling with. Let me know what are some of the beliefs that you know about yourself and about your attachment style. Let's make some form of discussion. I would love to also see your experience. And if you want to connect with me, and if you want to if you want to connect with me on a call so that we can talk about this, go through the training, through the in-demand 3 phases training for attracting conscious and uplifting relationships. Inside, you learn what are the 3 phases you go through until being surrounded by only the right people in your life. So it's like tremendously valuable. It's completely free. You can check it out. It's 2 hours long. And after you finish with the training, you can schedule a free call in the calendar where we can connect with one another. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this video to be useful. If it is, like it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the Soulful Relationships channel. I'm Daniel, your host. And my intention here with this channel is, with all the content I produce, to help you experience like the most loving, the most intimate, the most conscious, uplifting, and supportive relationships. So if this is something that you align with, subscribe, and I would love to see you around in the other videos I produce. Thank you so much again. See you next time.